So the Toronto Blue Jays get another loss today, and the holes have never been more prevalent with this team. There were so many mistakes, so many players not playing well. We're going to break it all down.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode of Locked On Blue Jays is brought to you by Booking.com. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. As you guys already know, most of you anyway, I'm Braden Iwasco. He's Carter First. You can find us on Twitter, Braden5Iwasco. Carter First, too, as well on Instagram and TikTok at Locked On Blue Jays. Drop a subscription if you're new here on YouTube. You guys have been killing it lately, but we want to see more of you. We want to get this fan base growing here. We want to get the Blue Jays fans all involved, and it helps if you guys do that. Keeps us at the top of your page where you guys are informed with all your Blue Jays info. And if you're listening everywhere else, we do appreciate that as well. Like I said, if you are listening other places, make sure you check the TikTok or the Instagram so that you guys can see all the shorts and reels and whatnot we post. That sort of goes after the games and after big information comes out. Carter, I mean, the team lost again and 6 hits. I don't know. It's just not good. George Springer lost me a bet today. The guy couldn't get a single base. It's just upsetting. Like, I can't even win money off this team anymore. It's just, they lose and they lose me money. It's the worst combination of things to happen. Carter, just before we get into that, we have trade deadline, a ton of stuff going on this week. Today's episode is sort of a more regular episode. Then Wednesday or Thursday, I guess it would be, we get into part 1 of our huge trade deadline episode with Dallin Wilton and Skylar Peters. Friday is the Gate 14 and Locked On Blue Jays crossover event of the year, we can call it, I guess, at this point. And then Monday, again, another trade deadline episode, barring nothing happens over the weekend. We assume there will be something. If that's the case, we will have somebody covering it. If it's me, if it's just Carter, if it's just me, if it's Dallin, Skylar, whoever's sort of available for this team at the time, somebody will have a live out for you guys going over exactly what's happening. And then, of course, on all the podcast posts, we will do more episodes and then, go over everything sort of more in depth. Carter, this game, man, what do you think? I mean, did I just say it sort of as it was? This team loses me money as well. Is that just stamp that we're going to put on this?
Yeah, Justin Turner has half your hits in this baseball game. That's where I'm at. Justin Turner, we kind of went over him, how he's just been underwhelming this entire season, went through a big slump. Maybe he breaks out of it. Like that, I guess that's your little victory of the day. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. launches again. That's always awesome. Another pull side home run, getting all of it. 4 home runs in the last 5 games. That's something we can get behind. But I mean, other than that, it's like Jose Berrios doesn't look great. The bullpen actually does okay, but your offense just can't get runs. And this is a kind of a bullpen day for the Tampa Bay Rays. Tyler Alexander starts this game. Bullpen arms throughout the rest of the game, just no offense whatsoever. The only bright side of the game was that bottom of the 6th inning where you had back-to-back home runs, which was awesome to see. But other than that, you really did not get anything going. It's kind of the same story we've had every game this year, because one thing works and the other things don't. Starting pitching is okay at best. Jose Berrios, again, 4 2/3 innings, not his best stuff. Walked 6. I believe that's a season high for him. Just couldn't really find the control. Your offense doesn't show up and your bullpen produces a pretty decent day. They go 4 1/3 innings, only giving up 1 run. To Rays score 4 runs, they're not that good of a baseball team. You kind of have to expect that the Toronto Blue Jays would at least give them a run for their money in this game. But it didn't really feel like that whatsoever. It felt like they were behind the ball this entire game. And they lose 4-2 to the Tampa Bay Rays, losing 3 of 4 after this All-Star break. Am I going to say I'm surprised? Absolutely not. This team's just not very good. I've kind of become accustomed to these type of Blue Jays games. Just not a lot to get excited about right now for the Toronto Blue Jays season, other than the trade deadline. Like we said in the last podcast, that is our World Series. That's probably the last thing that we can look forward to this season. I just wanted to get here. I want some moves to start being made. I just want the Blue Jays at this point just clean house, trade everyone.
See, Carter, this is where I was about to bring this up, and you had to say that, which gives me a perfect lead into what I was just going to talk about. And that is, I am so sick and tired of hearing the trade Vladimir Guerrero Jr. line. I don't want that in existence ever. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. should be a Toronto Blue Jay for life, and I'm accepting that I hope to God, I'm praying to Jesus that he will be, because Vlad is the only heartbeat on this team consistently. He's the only guy that's shown up this season. Yes, bad season last year. I think we all are well aware of that. But man, in a season where nobody's doing anything, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been sort of the only star in the sky for this team. And I don't know. I've seen a lot of people lately on Twitter saying like, "Screw it, trade them all, trade Vlad, trade Bo. I don't care." Who are you getting that's better than Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Honest to God, I would love to know. And of course, we're going to get into this more on the trade deadline episode as well, if nothing happens, because I'm sure something will. But Vlad better not be traded. I will curl up in a ball and cry if I have to watch, no offense, the Buffalo Bisons play an entire year next year. It's going to be painful, Carter. You have to keep Vlad. I really think Bo's going to stay. I don't think Bo's going to be traded, if I'm being honest with you. But the whole Vlad slander online has just gotten to me. This guy is an absolute superstar, and I will not hear anything less.
Oh, he's unbelievable. Like I already said, 4 home runs in 5 games. It's been one of the only positives for this entire Blue Jays season. But unfortunately, I do have a negative spin zone for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in 2021, his career year. Toronto Blue Jays, what a fun team to watch, but they don't make the playoffs. 2022, not the greatest year. 2023, not the greatest year either. Well, actually, I should say 2022 wasn't that bad. He still had over 30 home runs, I believe, in that year. Can't really take too much away from him, but they make the playoffs those 2 seasons. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. again, having a pretty good offensive season. And this team is one of the worst teams that I have ever laid my eyes on. So maybe we got to start the narrative that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We might have to fall on his sword for this Toronto Blue Jays offense to actually be good, for this Toronto Blue Jays team to actually be good. Because while it is fun watching Vladimir Guerrero Jr. launch baseballs, when you have 6 hits in a game, when your offense has struggled this entire year, when Alejandro Kirk's having at bats, Justin Turner for the most part this season is having bad at bats. Dalton Varsho he couldn't hit a beach ball right now. He had a hit in this game, great. But I mean, I made an unbelievable catch, which we'll get into. Great defense in Varsho. We have so many pieces on this offense that just can't hit consistently. So it's definitely tough. But saying that, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has expressed that he wants to stay with the Toronto Blue Jays. For a player his caliber, for a player that is only 25 years old, I think we got to keep remembering that. This guy hasn't had a worse season than 26 home runs since he's been a major leaguer, a regular major leaguer, as I should say. But he's just unbelievable. If he wants to stay for the Toronto Blue Jays, give him the Rogers Center, make it Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Center at this point. Like I don't care what it takes. Keep this guy in Toronto.
Yeah, and I don't know how many times we have to go over this. I don't know what other people are seeing, but the Twitter nonsense that goes on, or X or whatever, I don't even know at this point. It could be Instagram too, for all I know at this point, is just criminal. I can't stand scrolling through my timeline and people, laying into Vlad. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's frustrating at this point, because I feel like me and you have barked everybody's ear off about them needing to keep Vlad. They need to do something, and Vlad has to be a part of this team moving forward at his age. I just don't understand the other side of it. Like, maybe I need somebody in the comments to explain it to me, what's going on and why people feel that way, because I just don't get it. And I mean, we'll get into this with Johnny from Gate 14. I think he feels about the same way we do, Carter. And I'm going to need answers. So if you honestly believe, in the comment section right now, if you believe that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. should be traded, I need an explanation why, for one. And for two, I might bring it up on the podcast if it's really dumb. So lay them in there. We'll respond, because I need to know.
Here, I got one more thing that maybe like this is what people are thinking.
Sure.
One thing with prospects is prospects give you hope. You've looked at what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has done, not necessarily individually, but you look at his score, you look at the Kevin Biggio, you know where he is now, obviously not on the baseball team. He's with the Dodgers. Bo Bichette hasn't looked good. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., this core hasn't really amounted to much in this short time that they've had together. So again, prospects give you hope. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is really the only piece on this team right now that is going to get you a boatload of players, whether it's prospects, major league talent, you name it. He's going to get you a ton back. But again, prospects aren't, for sure, they aren't going to save your team. You could have 4 busts coming back for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Look at that Mookie Betts trade, as we refer to for the Red Sox. Connor Wong is really the only player that is still making a splash in that trade. And are you going to take Connor Wong, or are you going to take Mookie Betts? I think that's a pretty easy discussion here. That is something that could happen with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And even if you want to trade Vladimir Guerrero Jr., are you going to trust Ross Atkins to actually get you the right haul back and these players that we want back? Ross Atkins can't even get this team to get a playoff win. Never mind get players back for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has been your best player over the last 4 seasons. So with me, again, that narrative just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me either. That's the only thing I can really think of is you see the lack of success. You see that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would get you a ton of players back. But the lack of success isn't necessarily Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s fault. It was more so on the front office. It's more so on Ross Atkins. And it's on all the other surrounding players that haven't really supported him. You look at George Springer this season, not really going to cut it for the first 3 quarters of the season. Bo Bichette has been lost. He will be back. He'll be fine next year. But again, we thought that he'd be fine this year. Hasn't really come back. But Bo Bichette's his career. Don't really worry about that. Alejandro Kirk is one that he's just has not been good. That's just put it simply. The Dalton Varsho, again, at the plate has not been good. Again, you're getting contributions from Spencer Horwitz, David Schneider, Ernie Clement, those type of guys, and they're fulfilling their roles as supporting players. But this team needs another power bat. They need another guy that can have the ability to carry this offense. They don't need 39-year-old Justin Turner. They don't need Kevin Kiermaier, who's a defensive specialist, especially when you have Dalton Varsho. So with this narrative with the Vladimir Guerrero Jr., even the Bo Bichette stuff, why would you sell Bo Bichette at his lowest moment? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been your best player over the last 5 seasons. No need to move on from them, especially with the direction this team is going.
Yeah, and that's why I'm sort of frustrated. Don't get me wrong, right? You bring up the Justin Turner thing, and we're going to have somebody in the comments tomorrow saying, well, Justin Turner just hit a home run and blah, blah, blah. And you look at the rest of the season. It's not going the way that we expected it to. And I'm getting frustrated, Carter, because literally I was on Twitter for 3 hours today. I'm at work. The Sea Bears game was going on. The Winnipeg Sea Bears, awesome basketball team to watch, absolutely electric. But I was on Twitter as, sort of minding my business, trying to figure stuff out, as making some posts, whatever else. And I just see a ton of people lashing out. It's like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. isn't the guy they need to be lashing out at. It's Ross Atkins. It's the rest of these players not doing their jobs. As much as I love Dalton Varsho defensively, he is amazing. It's fun to watch. The bat is dead. It is gone. He might as well go up there and swing an imaginary bat because nothing is going well. He is just horrid at the plate. And I mean, the rest of these guys, again, you put it, David Schneider, Ernie Clement, Leo Jimenez, these guys have all been what they should have been. And that's supporting pieces to this cast. It shouldn't have been where you have to rely on Ernie Clement to hit 2 home runs in a game, or you got to rely on David Schneider to hit a game-winning home run in the bottom of the 9th. It just shouldn't have to happen. We shouldn't be at that stage. These guys should be able to get on base for your big guys to drive them in. And that's not happening. It hasn't happened all season. Carter, I'm going to throw it back to you because I think I've went on my rant today, my Twitter rant. So if you have anything else from today's game that you really want to cover, let's get into it.
Okay, I guess we'll go into some positives about Dalton Varsho. And again, Dalton Varsho probably isn't getting as much flack on this podcast. If literally anyone else on this baseball team can hit, you kind of know what you're getting with Dalton Varsho. You're not expecting him to hit 270 throughout the entire season. You know he's a power bat. You know he's going to drive in, hopefully 20 home runs. I'm not sure if he's going to get there this season after the little bit of a slump he's been in. If you can get 20 home runs, premium defense, then Dalton Varsho is going to kind of be the player that I've expected since the trade. Obviously, was coming off a career year. You wanted him to be a little bit better. You wanted him to progress. Not really happening. I think I know where Dalton Varsho's at. I think you know. I think a lot of Blue Jays fans should know. You do want better offense, but he's a premium defender, probably the best outfielder in all of baseball. And he shows that again in the 3rd inning. Another jumping catch at the wall. This guy pretty much does it every other day. He's making an unbelievable catch. He's making he's making tough plays look very easy. Just so many unbelievable defensive plays. Again, he's saving runs in that 3rd inning. Just defensively, this guy is as good as it gets. You can't really go wrong with Dalton Varsho on the defensive side of the ball. But for a team that needs offense so desperately, obviously he's thrown into the spotlight a little bit more than he probably necessarily should be. But other than that, I mean, watching the Toronto Blue Jays, it's like when you're going over to your girlfriend's house and she makes you a dinner and it just tastes awful. But you got to watch it because you got to eat it because you love her. You got to watch Toronto Blue Jays because you love the Toronto Blue Jays. You just do it because you love the team, because you love your girlfriend, whatever it is. It's just not good, though. You're really taking one for the team watching these baseball games at this point.
You are. You know what? I think what it shows is what you could take away from that is that you love the Toronto Blue Jays and you're a hardcore fan. And we love that on this podcast because that's exactly what we are. We're idiots who picked this team when we were 3 years old or 2 years old to follow. And now we're just in pain since. So that's sports in general. But unless you're like one of those guys like Tyler McKay, our buddy, who just jumps teams every year. Take a little bit of a shot. Somebody send that to him.
What a life that would be, though, just to like pick new teams every year. Like, oh, I'm going to be a Baltimore Orioles fan this year. Or like in the NFL, like, oh, I'm just going to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Like, that would be awesome. Like, just jumping random teams. I understand why people do it, but I can never stoop to that low of a loyalty. I'm loyal to my to my teams, a little to my boys, and that's something that you got to look for, especially at the level of the MLB. You got to look for loyalty, and like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., pointing back to him, he's showing that loyalty, so you might as well lock him up. But saying that, we got a couple more things we want to go into. Jose Berrios been on a little bit of a cold streak. I want to go into Trevor Richards a little bit as well, just because the Toronto Blue Jays trade pieces, obviously the ones that are going to be shipped away, they just seem like they just want to screw Ross Atkins over one more time, and they're going to play their worst brand of baseball that I've ever seen. Saying that, we got a bunch more to go into, so we're going to get into all of that coming up.
Today's episode brought to you by Booking.com. As you guys know, we are huge fans of Booking.com here at Locked On Blue Jays because they helped us book our trip to Toronto. They helped us book my trip to New York. It was excellent. They were awesome to use and made it super, super easy. And that's why I love Booking.com. We're going to Minnesota or Minneapolis, Minnesota. At the end of this year, at the end of the summer, I should say. And we're going to use Booking.com. We've already started to book things, and we booked them through Booking.com. With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you've always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your baseball rivals cities with hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rival's city. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com, on the site, or in the Booking.com app.
Today's episode is also sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They're the easiest and most exciting way to play fantasy sports because it's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you can pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. PrizePicks is very simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entries in as little as 60 seconds. So I think I've been watching a little bit too much Toronto Blue Jays baseball because I have been on the worst losing streak on PrizePicks of all time. So my bets yesterday, I had more than bases Springer and Horwitz. They went 0 for 4. They both had 3 strikeouts. And I had less than bases on Justin Turner, and he goes 3 for 4 with a bomb. So I might just be the fade god at this point. So I'm going to give you more picks. You can ride with me. You can just go against me. I'd probably advise you to fade me right now, but I have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., more than 1.5 bases. I think George Springer's going to bounce back. I have him as well, more than 1.5 bases. But if you know which players are going to perform on specific nights, apparently I don't. But this is a no-brainer. Download PrizePicks and start making your picks today. You can download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit matchup to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit matchup to $100.
Oh, man, I had it, and then I messed it up. Okay, so Jose Berrios Carter today. I mean, you know what? It's not the worst performance I've seen out of him, but it just wasn't good. And a guy that was so electric at the beginning of this season, I really thought that he was going to bounce back super well at some point. We're going to get back to seeing that. But he goes 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, 6 walks, and obviously he gives up a home run because Jose Berrios will never go a game without giving up a home run. He now leads the league in home runs given up again with 22. So, put that, raise that banner in the Rogers Center, might as well. I don't know. It's frustrating, Carter. It is, because it's a guy that we said at the beginning of the season looked unbelievable. He was unbelievable. But at some point, we got to be just, maybe we got to come back down to earth a little bit with this guy.
I don't know. Maybe Jose Berrios just said, oh, you're not going to hit. We're not going to have a good bullpen. Why should I be good as well? Because you look at the start of the season. He was the pitcher of the month in April. He had a 1.19 ERA, striking people out like crazy. A slur of looked dominant, weak contact all over the place. He was pitcher of the month for a reason. But then as we get later on into the season, it just kind of gets worse and worse. May is a 4.70 ERA. Over 30 2/3 innings pitched. Not great. June gets a little bit worse, 4.85. But July is really the month I wanted to focus on. He has an 8.40 ERA in that span, over 15 innings, 3 games started. So he's only pitching 5 innings to start. For Jose Berrios, he's a guy that usually eats innings. It's a lot of weak contact. Doesn't necessarily get a ton of strikeouts, but you want him to go deeper into games, especially with how this bullpen has been. 19 hits over those 15 innings, 14 earned runs, 7 walks. Just, it's not going to play. A 306 batting average against. They're just hitting Jose Berrios all over the yard right now. And again, when you look at the state of this team, it's whatever. Like Jose Berrios, you want him to be better, obviously. I'll be the first one to say that. But does it matter for the rest of the Toronto Blue Jays season? Absolutely not. He's going to go out next year. He's going to throw up the same 3.5 to 4 ERA again for this team. He's going to be good. He's not going to be the problem. If you want to outline a problem for anyone, or this team, it's going to be the bullpen, because you're looking at this bullpen. It's not looking good whatsoever. But Jose Berrios this month has a hard contact rate of 43.4%. That's just obviously it's not going to be good. in July. I was looking at his last year, July, just to see if this was becoming a trend for Jose Berrios, but no, it's absolutely not. It's just one of those random months. Because last year, July was probably his best month of the season. He had a 1.84 ERA, 2.21 average against, and a 5.99 OPS against. This year, he has an 8.65 OPS against. I already said the 8.4 ERA and 3.06 average against. Again, it's sort of whatever. Again, I like seeing Jose Berrios be dominant, though. I think that's why I wanted to bring this up on the podcast. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I still love Jose Berrios. I still think he's going to go out there and put good efforts out there for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a little bit of command issues, throwing a lot more balls than strikes recently, or just more balls than he normally throws than strikes in the comparative ratio. But overall, it doesn't really matter. It's tough for Jose Berrios, and it's got to be tough to go out there for a starting pitcher, especially on the Toronto Blue Jays, where you know it's either your bullpen's going to blow it or you're not going to get runs for your offense. So it's definitely going to be mentally draining to pitch on this Toronto Blue Jays staff.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It is absolutely. I mean, it's frustrating for us. Never mind for the pitchers that have to go out there and secure their 8th loss of the season on maybe a game they shouldn't have. Yes, Jose Berrios didn't have his best stuff. He gave up 3 hits and 3 runs. I don't know. To me, Carter, that shouldn't be the end of the world. And like, I knew, okay, there's 3 runs scored. The Blue Jays, I don't feel like they're going to win this game. And sure enough, they didn't win this game. It is frustrating. And to be honest with you, Carter, this bullpen has been just horrible. One little bright spot here that I wanted to bring up was that Eric Swanson in his past 2 outings has been good. Maybe his command still wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be, but he's looking better. I don't necessarily know if I take too much away from 2 innings of pitching, but it's a good start. And we need Eric Swanson to be good. This team needs Eric Swanson to be good. So if he's a guy that can now come back at the end of this season, like we said with a lot of these guys, get good towards the end of this season, give us a little bit of hope going into next year. If that's something Eric Swanson could do, that's going to be huge for this ball club as well.
Absolutely. You just got to build Eric Swanson's confidence over this next a little bit. And again, the command isn't necessarily where you want it to be, but as long as the splitter, as long as you're seeing the stuff break, his fastball, his slider, his splitter, I'm going to be okay with it. Again, we're not really focused as much on the ERA, these numbers. I'm more focused on the strikeout rate, the hard hit percentage, things like that. If he's giving up runs from time to time, I'm not really going to complain too much. But here's another narrative since we're on the bullpen that I want to start here. Trevor Richards might just love Canada. That's where we're at. He just doesn't want to be traded. He wants his value to be at an all-time low so he can stay with the Toronto Blue Jays. That's over his last 7 starts. Trevor Richards has a 14.85 ERA. So he's really trying to just plummet the stocks into Trevor Richards' boat here. I guess he doesn't want to leave Toronto, even though there's a lot of options that he could go to, especially if he's packaged with Yimi Garcia, maybe he's packaged with Yusei Kikuchi. But again, maybe he wants to stay in Toronto. He likes the changeup works a little bit better at the Rogers Center. Maybe he likes the crowd. He likes the Looney Dogs. Maybe he dabbles in that after the game. I don't know what it is, but Trevor Richards hasn't been good recently. Again, the bullpen as a whole just has not been great the entire season. But yeah, like over 6 2/3 innings, 11 earned runs, a whip of 2.4. That's not great. That's not great at all when you have that many base runners. Getting on base per inning, you're usually not going to have a lot of success. But just like overall, you look at Danny Jansen, he's not hitting very good either. That's another piece that you might move at the deadline. Over his last 7 games, he's 3 for 23, 7 strikeouts, a 130 average. Over his last 30, he has a 126 average for an OPS of under 400. So again, it's not looking good for a lot of these trade pieces. One good thing is Yimi Garcia has looked really good. Chad Green, I've been seeing, has been linked to the Yankees. There was a little bit of a reunion there. Apparently, Aaron Judge said Chad Green was one of the best teammates he's ever had. So maybe we get a Chad Green for Juan Soto trade incoming for the Toronto Blue Jays. That would be something that would be nice to see. But yeah, like other than that, the only other positive I have for Toronto Blue Jays news is that Hunter Harvey was traded to the Kansas City Royals for their number 2 prospect in their system. And Yimi Garcia is a million times better than Hunter Harvey. So if we're looking at bright sides, Ross Atkins can actually make a good trade and fleece the team. You trade Yimi Garcia and maybe you trade Yusei Kikuchi, whatever you want to package with these guys. Maybe you get a couple of highly touted prospects. That'd be awesome to see. But again, it's Ross Atkins. Do I have a lot of faith in this guy? Not exactly. So it's really going to just have to see how this unfolds upcoming to the trade deadline.
Yeah, it's going to be shocking. And like we said, we're going to give you guys a sort of a whole big rundown on what the play is next week or this coming week and into early next week with the trade deadline as well in the next segment here. But Carter, I don't know, man. I'm just waiting on moves right now. I really am. I'm sort of chomping at the bit to see what the Blue Jays come up with and what they can get for some of these pieces. Again, I have what I'm going to get into on that trade deadline episode is a plan that I think they should utilize. Will they? Absolutely not, because they are the Toronto Blue Jays. They are Ross Atkins, and they will make a move that nobody expects, and it won't pan out. But Carter, in saying that, I think let's take a quick break. I want to throw it over to the Locked On 24/7 streaming channel. Again, they have expert analysis on all teams, all the major four sports leagues, as well as some WNBA stuff and a bunch of college sports. So it's unbelievable. They do a fantastic job with all the teams out there. And you can tune in anytime you want, if it's 4 p.m., 4 a.m., whatever you want to do. I know I tuned in a couple days ago. I don't even know what time it was, but the TV was on. It was on Locked On Sports today, and it was just playing through a bunch of different stuff. You can also check it on the Amazon Fire TV's channels app. And Carter, we're going to get into a few more things, plus take a look at what this rest of the week holds for the Locked On Blue Jays boys here. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. As you guys know, Game Time, one of mine and Carter's favorite apps on our phone. It works so well in purchasing tickets. They have their zone deals, their flash deals, and it just makes everything so much cheaper. You don't have to run around and try to find the best deal wherever, because you know Game Time has the best deals. As well, they have their view from the seat, which we really appreciate. When we go to ball games, we like to sit all over the ballpark. So in using the Game Time app, it gives you the best opportunity to take a look all around the stadium. They also have their last minute deals, which we actually took advantage of when we were out in Toronto. We bought some of them pretty late, and we got a good discount. So that was really nice. And like I said, they have the best price, or they'll credit you 110%. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON MLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So Carter, huge couple days coming up here on Locked On Blue Jays. We hope you guys are just excited as we are. We have some amazing guests. We got our buddies coming on. It's going to be a really fun week. I've talked about it. Dallin and Skylar Peters will be coming on for Thursday's episode as well. For Monday's episode, we're going to do a big recording, get everybody's takes, what they assume is going to happen, what they think is going to happen, projections, where players are going to land, all the everything in between. And of course, Carter, Friday, Johnny Junta from the Gate 14 podcast. That's a guy whose name that I will never be able to say correctly. But there we go. Carter made sure I said it right this time. It's going to be a fun episode. Gate 14, Locked On Blue Jays crossover on Friday. It's like see what kind of takes Johnny can bring us. Hopefully he's doesn't get too nuts on us here with his Blue Jays takes, but he's known for a wild take here and there. So we'll see what happens as well. Tuesday is trade deadline, so we're going to have all the coverage for you guys, what happens in the final day of the trade deadline, and anything in between. So if there's any moves made, anything big happening, we will be going live as much as possible, as we do have day jobs as well. So we'll be trying to work around that and make sure that you guys get the coverage that we can get you. As well, if something does happen, you guys can tune in on the next day's podcast. We'll have everything, a full-on breakdown of everything that happened for you guys. It's just going to be a crazy couple days for me and you, Carter. It's even the weekend. The whole thing is crazy. After the after the Gate 14 Locked On episode, there's a Country Rising concert here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and it is an unbelievable lineup. There will be about 900 beers consumed, I believe, between the whatever it is, 10 of us that are going. And then Saturday, the Blue Bombers play as well. So it is going to be a great weekend for sports, for baseball, for drinking in the summer, for the summer. I don't know, add another 100 things you want in there. But it is going to be fun, Carter?
Oh, yeah, I'm very excited for the weekend. But best case scenario is literally everything happens on Saturday and Sunday. And then if you want it to happen maybe Monday night, that'd be okay for us. Absolute worst case scenario is it happens Friday night, because there's no way we're doing anything Friday night, unfortunately.
Jade Quick Eagleson, live from our phone from the concert, maybe.
Yeah, with Jade Eagleson in the background, the Rec Laws. I don't know if there's a lot of Americans listening to this podcast, you might not know the Rec Laws, but they were on America's Got Talent. Then Dallas Smith, and then Brothers Osborne is the other one. So it's a pretty stacked lineup for a city of Winnipeg. You usually don't get 4 good artists coming to the same spot, so that's pretty crazy for us. So we definitely have to take advantage of that. But overall, yeah, just hopefully the Toronto Blue Jays can make some moves, get some good deals going our way. I have a bad feeling that it's going to be very underwhelming for us. We're not going to get a lot of good players, just kind of the way the Toronto Blue Jays season has gone. And with Ross Atkins, if he doesn't really, he's going to have to kind of put his nuts on the table a little bit here and make some big moves if he wants to keep his job, because there is a lot. He is on the hot seat, to say the least. And hopefully he can try to turn this thing around. But I mean, it's looking very bleak going into next season. But saying that, I guess we'll go into this Rays series, game 2, Guerrero Rodriguez versus Zach Eflin. Again, this was a game that we were excited to watch. So we're going to be tuning in for sure, watching Guerrero Rodriguez with a magnifying glass. Hopefully he can produce another good outing. Other than that, just the same things I kind of said before. Look for individual performances. Guerrero Rodriguez, Spencer Horwitz, hopefully can bounce back. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., keep the hot streak going. And then just trade deadline pieces. Justin Turner, let's just go like over this next little bit here. Let's go like 15 for 20. That's what we need from you, Justin Turner. Completely turn your season stats around, get a little bit hot here. Jano, another guy. Thing with Jano, again, we'll get into this for a lot, like way more in depth in later episodes. We trade Danny Jansen. I don't know who we're going to have starting behind the plate. I don't know if I can handle Alejandro Kirk. You're looking at the free agents next season. There's really nobody. There is not a lot of good players at the catcher position. So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with Danny Jansen. Again, a guy that you want to hit maybe a little bit more for average. And then the power hasn't really been here. But again, we'll get into all that coming up. Thank you guys for watching. We have realized that about 68% of you guys, maybe it's 67 now, have not subscribed. If you're watching, coming back, watching the videos all the time, taking time out of your day, it helps us a ton if you do subscribe, and also keeps our podcast at the top of your page. As Braden and I have been saying, we're going to be going live over this next week and a bit here, covering trade deadline moves, whether it's the Toronto Blue Jays getting fleeced, whether it's them making a good deal, whether it's them doing absolutely nothing. Oh, God forbid if that's what happens. But again, we'll be coming at you with a ton of content over this next week. Just want to throw it over one more time to Locked On 24/7 streaming channel, Locked On Sports Today, or the Amazon Fire TV's channel app. Pretty much any sport you can think of, expert analysis anytime throughout the day. What beats that? Not a lot. Maybe the Locked On Blue Jays podcast. But Braden, you got anything else to add before we head out for the day?
No, that was a good plug. I like that a lot. That was really nice of you. Yeah, guys, we really do appreciate you guys watching. We can't say it enough. This has been an absolute blast so far this year, and we will hopefully continue this for a while, as long as we don't get the plug pulled on us or something like that. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Locked
we end up
On.
in an insane asylum from watching too much Toronto Blue Jays baseball and just horrific moves, horrific baseball. Hopefully things can get better, because right now it doesn't feel like it can get much worse. But again, hopefully we just get our hopes up. Hopefully we make some good deals at the deadline and then just reset for the next season.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hopefully you guys enjoy this game. Watch Guerrero Rodriguez absolutely pound the Tampa Bay Rays into the dirt. That's what I'm hoping for. Take it easy, guys. See you later.